Hi guys, Adam here. Just doing a video update today on pain and strength training. Now, over the last couple of weeks, I've spoken a lot about discomfort and training. Now, this is not to be confused with what I'm talking about today. Last video that I did, I spoke about how pushing yourself into certain levels of discomfort, especially with training, produces favorable outcomes. For example, if you do a set of squats or you go for a 5-kilometer run, the harder you push, generally the higher the level of discomfort, and following from that, the greater the level of adaptations. Now, we're not confusing that with pain, the type of pain that you get from, say, touching a hot stove or from doing a squat and getting that really dull aching feeling in your lower back. That is the pain that we're going to talk about today, and the importance of it and how we can learn from it. Now, I'm going to use a personal example and a story of one of my clients and how he was having shoulder pain, and I couldn't work out what was going wrong, and it forced me to not only research but grow as a trainer and learn, okay, this is what needs to be done for him to avoid pain and be successful at his program. Now, this client, I couldn't work out what was going wrong. He was passing all the tests that I'd been taught from various courses and other coaches that had taught me over the years, and he was blitzing them, and he looked like he was moving well. And so I couldn't really understand what was going wrong. He didn't have a previous injury history, and he'd never had surgery in that spot. But he was getting a dull ache in his shoulder from the training that we were doing. And then I spoke to a mentor of mine. I said, what should I be looking at? And I did all these tests. So I was testing his glenohumeral joints for how much extension he had. I was looking at his scapulothoracic. I was looking at his thoracic extension, and all of those he was passing. And then basically, as I looked up the chain, so I looked above and below where he was getting pain, and I came across his wrist. His wrist was stuck in the extension position the whole time. So whenever he was doing a press, his wrist was in this position through here when it should have been straight. And that was in effect putting his shoulder in a different position. When he was holding a squat bar, when he was doing a press, his shoulder was coming forward out of the joint, and he was basically beating up his shoulder via his wrist. And once I worked this out, I went away and I learnt a couple of mobility drills that I could hopefully get that wrist aligning in a straight position. And I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to solve this problem, but after doing the mobility drills with him and building up some positional awareness in that wrist, he was able to actually hold his wrist straight. And long story short, his pain went away. After a week or 2 weeks, he virtually went to a pain scale of 0. Okay, the 3 takeaway points that I want you to understand from today is pain is not a stop sign. It forces you to become resourceful, to learn, to seek out new information. If I had have just put my head in the sand with my client and said, okay, he gets pain when he does shoulder press and squats, I would have virtually cut out his whole entire program, and he wouldn't have been able to achieve his overall goal, which was to get stronger and lean by a certain date. With me problem solving and finding a mobility exercise and stretches that worked for him, I was able to actually still get him to his overall goal by that certain date. Which brings me to the second point is warm-ups, programs, nutrition, all should be individualized. If you're following someone else's warm-up or program, it's not relevant for you. What is one man's medicine is another man's poison. So keep that in mind. Everything should be individualized, especially when it comes to pain. And my third and final point is don't ignore pain at the expense of your overall goals. If you push it to the side, it will come back to haunt you later. So always address pain, learn, and adapt. If you've got any questions or comments, please do it below or send me an email. I'm always open and welcome to hear your feedback. Thanks for your time.